Put that up. Hello, I am excited to be doing a full, and I mean full glam. I'm gonna be doing my hair for you guys as well. I get so many requests to do like a very detailed hair curling tutorial, and I thought it would be fun to also talk about just some things that I have learned in 2021. I do already have my face moisturized. I feel like one of the most important things that I learned this year was just the idea of taking responsibility for your life. I grew up in a childhood where our family was in poverty. I used to, put a lot of blame on my parents for the opportunities I wasn't able to have, and just put a lot of blame on them for having to grow up very quickly as a child, and just a bunch of things. I think this was a year that I fully just decided to accept responsibility for my life, and just kept telling myself, like, okay, Grace, yes, obviously you were born into certain circumstances and they were out of your control, but now you don't get to blame your parents. It's not really even about placing the blame on anybody. It's more about just taking responsibility for myself and for my life, and realizing that ultimately I am the only person that can control my happiness and can control where my life goes. 2021 was the year that I decided to be really intentional about everything that I do. And if you follow me on Instagram, you were able to be a part of that journey with me this year. And it was a really great year in terms of just learning to take responsibility for myself. Anytime I was unhappy or anytime things weren't going my way, I just consistently reminded myself that's how life is, and it's gonna be okay. And you are responsible for taking this situation. I'm responsible for the things that I can control, and that is huge. So anytime something wasn't going the way that I wanted it to, I would just keep asking myself, okay, what can you control about this situation? So yeah, I learned just to take responsibility for myself this year. I think that was a really big lesson that I had not applied before in previous years. Secondly, in 2021, I feel like I really was able to embrace who I am. I released a course that stemmed from all of this, being an influencer for 7 years now, and one of the things that the industry just kind of shoves in your face over and over and over again is get a niche, get a niche, get a niche. And that was the information that I had been taking in for several years. And in 2021, I figured out that not only am I also very extroverted, but I can be introverted. Not only am I fashionable, but I also like to be very comfortable. And then not only do I have a great personality for influencing, but I also have the brains to organize, and I'm an extremely intelligent person. It sounds so stupid to say it out loud. In high school, I used to feel so not cool because I focused on my grades. In college, while everybody else partied, I literally just studied. I felt like if I wanted to be smart and intelligent, I couldn't be cool and outgoing and have a personality. Learned to accept just who I am and the fact that I can be several different kinds of people, and that all humans are like this. So there is no need to bottle yourself up into one single category, because as soon as I accepted who I was fully with myself is when my platform started to blow up. Okay, and then another thing that I learned this year was just how important consistency is. I've been on Instagram for 7 years, and if you are a recent follower, then you see that my Instagram right now is at around 38,000 followers. And it's not all about the numbers, but also at the same time it is, because if you have an audience, that means that you actually have influence, and that what you're talking about is what people care about. And for several years, up to the 7th year of this year, in March of 2021, I was at, I think, 5,000 followers on Instagram. I've been very consistent on Instagram. I've posted regularly. I posted on there like I had a huge platform. Consistency is really important, especially if you believe in something, even if it isn't working out. This goes to any of my ladies who have, if you have a dream or if you are working towards a goal, or you're just convicted about something in your life, whatever it is, just stay consistent with it even if things aren't working out. Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm proud of myself for sticking with it, even when after 7 years I still only had 5,000 followers. In the world of social media, to be completely honest, you can pretty much consider that a failure. Anybody would have looked at me and been like, you've been working on this for 7 years and you still only have 5,000 followers, like something's not clicking. Either you should stop or you should try something else. You know, it was like one of those things, but I was very convicted about it and I knew that I had a place here. So if you have something that you are convicted about, to that same mindset, and everybody else in the world is telling you you shouldn't do it, don't listen to them. There's a reason why you were convicted. There is a reason why you feel so strongly about wanting to do something. In those moments, you need to only listen to yourself. And I have so many moments in my life where literally everybody, my most trusted friends who are extremely wise, have told me not to do something, and I've just been like, excuse me, no, I'm gonna do it because I know that it's the right thing for me. Consistency was a big part of 2021 for me, and I'm so grateful for consistency. Another thing that I learned this year was just the importance of boundaries. So if you know my personality, I will not do anything that I don't want to. I've never had issues with saying no if I don't want to do something, or with setting boundaries with people, but I think this year I really just understood the importance of it and learned to let go of any guilt that I had previously been holding on to. Before 2021, I would basically like ask myself like, oh, why do you have to be so difficult, Grace? Like, why can't you just be easygoing? Or like, why can't you just want things like other people do? But this year, I learned to let go of that guilt, and also learned to never talk down to myself. Like if I was specifically convicted about a boundary and I knew that it was something that was important to me, like I would tell myself, you are not allowed to feel any guilt about the boundaries that you put up that are important to you, because those boundaries are specific only to me. And if somebody else can't understand that, then that's okay, because it's your boundary. And it's your right to say whether or not you like it or you don't. Another key thing that I learned in 2021 was just the fact that at the end of the day, people do not care about you. It's really sad, but like the things that you're doing, people will pay attention to you for like a split second, but then they'll forget about you, because the reality is everybody is self-absorbed with themselves. It was a very positive thing for me to learn, because when you realize that people do not care about you, then it kind of gives you the freedom to do whatever you want, because I think a lot of people stop themselves from doing things that they want to because they're so concerned about what other people will think, about the judgment that will come from either their friends or their family. But when you realize that people could care less about you, even if they judge you, they'll do that for a few minutes and then they will move on. It really helped me to step up, especially for myself. I just realized that nobody is going to be my biggest fan but me. So I have to do things that I want to for myself, not for anybody else. Now I'm just realizing that people really do not care about the things that I do, and just care about what kind of value can be provided to them was huge for me in what I'm trying to do on social media as well. I stopped making it about me and made it about other people. Honey, the difference that I saw and the kind of engagement that I was seeing on my platform is just insane. Another really big thing that I implemented for myself this year that really made a difference was not sharing everything with everybody. When I was building and launching my course, I didn't tell anybody about it. I really only told my husband, but I didn't tell anybody, not even like my best friends. This was a project that I considered to be a really important part of my life. It was going to be a pivotal thing for me. The last thing that I wanted was for everybody's opinions to come swirling in on me, and I just didn't have the time for that, to be completely honest. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. I knew exactly when I wanted to launch it. I knew the steps that I wanted to take. I knew that I didn't have the energy, the time, or the capacity to be talking to other people about how it was going, like where I was in the process, or like listening to unsolicited opinions about how it should go. That was just one of those things that I just decided I was going to do. Put my head down, didn't tell anybody about it, grinded for like 4 months, and then released it. And it was incredibly satisfying. I am a lifestyle blogger. Just a part of that comes with sharing, a majority of your life on the internet. And I'm okay with it because I signed up for it. But then also at the same time, I think this year in 2021, I decided that even when I am choosing to put my life on social media, I don't need to put absolutely everything. Another thing that was pretty key for me to learn this year was just that there are seasons of life for everything. I thought a lot about how there are seasons of life for like friendships. This Christmas, I feel like it wasn't as magical as it has been in the past, but there's a good reason for that. I was spending a lot of time working on my course. My husband was working a lot of night shifts. We didn't have a lot of like nighttime together to go do Christmas activities. And I was honestly okay with that. The fact that there are seasons for everything. I definitely do not want a child right now, and it's because of the season that we're in, and that is okay. If you are in a particular season that calls you to pay attention to certain things or devote your time to certain things, but to kind of sacrifice some other things that are important to you, like that is okay. And I had to come to that realization this year because I've had to sacrifice some things, and yeah, it's hard, but that's okay. Like, life isn't meant to be perfect, and life certainly is not meant to work out exactly the way that you want. Another thing that I learned this year was just the importance of being in touch with your emotions. So one thing I am not good at is understanding and regulating my emotions as a very passionate person. Just the fact that I can even vocally say that out loud is like a huge deal. But yeah, one thing that I realized this year was that it's really important for me to understand like where my emotions are and then why. And one way that I have been doing that has been, I look crazy right now because I washed my hair last night and I ran out of my good shampoo, so I had to use some shampoo, and it's like just amazing what a difference you can tell in your hair when you do that. Ugh, my hair feels greasy. That's another thing that I learned in 2021, the fact that hard water sucks. Indy has possibly the hardest water that you could have in any city. I had to like actually buy a specific shower filter to make my water softer, that my hair wouldn't suffer, or my skin. I was like actually breaking out and my hair felt disgusting. Like it just didn't feel clean. And it was because of the hard water, and that's kind of what it feels like right now. And I think it's because I ran out of the good shampoo that usually helps me. Another thing that I learned this year was I think I've started to gravitate away from making a lot of money mindset and just more of figuring out how can I utilize the gifts that God has given me to really grasp onto the purpose that I have in this life. And it has been way more fulfilling than trying to figure out how to make a lot of money. And that's honestly just personally something that I have had to work through. Like growing up in literal poverty, money is something that obviously I hold on to very tightly, as well as any kind of material possessions. Specifically when I was younger, I remember wanting to purchase designer label items just so other people wouldn't think that I was poor. I am over that now. Maybe it's because, well, I don't think I can say that I'm completely over it now, but I'm definitely in a better place about it than I used to be. Like, I no longer want luxury goods at all, actually. I think luxury goods are nice if you purchase them for like the right reasons, which are if they are of like a higher quality and they really can serve you and serve its purpose for a very long time. I believe in high quality items. I don't believe in luxury goods just because they are a luxury good anymore. I read this book called God and Money this year, and just challenging me to consider the different ways that I can pursue generosity, because that's another thing that I'm not very good at. And then I think more than ever in 2021, it was evident to me that my time is so important. I have loved being able to work from home, and I'm so grateful for that flexibility. But I've been craving more flexibility, if that makes sense. Whatever I want with my time, basically whenever I want. I truly believe that that is going to be possible for me. Another thing that I want to add to my list for 2021, minimalism. So we live in a 890 square foot apartment. Before we came here, we were living in a house that was over 2,000 square feet big, and we had to downsize a lot. We went from 3 bedrooms to 1 bedroom. It wasn't as big of an adjustment as I thought it would be. It has honestly been a great experience. In the process of downsizing earlier this year for this smaller apartment, I had to leave a lot of stuff, just get rid of a bunch of items that we weren't using. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I cannot remember anything that I left behind at all, because I wasn't using it, you know? Like really purged out my closet, because I get clothes from brands often and that tends to build up, and I only kept the items that I found myself wearing over and over again. And my closet right now is in the best shape that it's been all year, and it feels so good because I know that every single piece in there is something that I like wearing in this season. And this goes back to the whole seasons thing again. I no longer hang on to clothes that I think I could wear, you know, like a few months from now or like a few years from now. If I'm not wearing it right now, it is gone. And it's amazing because I'm no longer taking up precious space in my closet with things that aren't going to be worn, and they're going to be donated so somebody who actually would like it can wear it. Like, it just is so much better. I'm all about being efficient, and the one way that you can guarantee that you will not be efficient is by having a closet that is jam-packed full of items that you do not wear, because you will be causing yourself decision fatigue. Decision fatigue basically is when you get tired of having to make decisions, and it's really tiring to make a decision when you have way too many options. So the one way that you can take care of that is by decreasing the number of options that you actually have. And a lot of high-level people and CEOs like take after this. One example of this would be like Steve Jobs. He wore the same thing every single day, and that's one thing that he didn't have to use his brain power on every single day. And If you think about it, it's like honestly genius. Fashion is actually pretty important to me, and it's one way that I can express myself, so that's not something that I would be able to do personally. I learned this from TikTok. You basically spray your setting spray on your beauty blender and tap it into your face, and I think it's amazing because I hate spraying my face, getting it like all in my eyes. Alrighty, well, I have talked your ears off about the things that I have learned in 2021, and I hope it was helpful, as well as both the makeup and the hair tutorial that is always highly requested. And if you like this kind of content, go ahead and press that subscribe button. You can even press on a bell that notifies you whenever I post a new video, which is really fun. And you can find me on Instagram, or you can check out my blog. All of the links are going to be in the description below, so go check that out. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.